Earlier this week, armed bandits attacked and killed several persons in Tangaza local government area of Sokoto State. And the spate of attacks across Nigeria's northwest region has increased concerns about the effectiveness of security and defense systems. So tonight, we'll continue our special series on the review of security operations across the geopolitical regions in the country. Data scientist Babajide Oguso, who is the founder of Leadership by Data and Channels Television's data analyst, is here to share the facts, the analysis, and of course insights about the security situation in Nigeria's northwest region. Thank you very much, Babajide, for joining us again on the news at 10.
Good evening, Anna.
And now, is the new epicenter of terrorism now the northwest region? Who are those behind these attacks when you look at it, and can you connect the dots?
That's two questions in one.
Three, actually.
So, can we call the northwest region the epicenter of terrorism now? No, we can't, because, you know, we've just 2 weeks ago we looked at the north central region. Tonight we're looking at the northwest region. So clearly, when we're done with all the 6 regions, we then can easily decide where is the epicenter. But from the report we had and the evidence from the north central, total fatalities in the north central region for the first half of this year, 850 fatalities, and those fatalities include civilians, military personnel, security agencies, personnel that work with security agencies, and yes, even the terrorists. So that is the total fatalities figure for the north central in the first half of this year, 850. For the northwest region that we're looking at today, the evidence that we'll still look at much later shows that total fatalities in the first half of this year, going by the data from ACLED, which is about the most verifiable data we have globally, shows that in Nigeria's northwest region, first half of this year, total fatalities, 1,800. So yes, if we compare the fatalities in the north central region to Nigeria's northwest region, clearly there's more security concerns in the northwest region compared to the north central region. However, until we look at all the data from the geopolitical regions, we then can take a firm position on where the epicenter is. So that answers the first question. And your second question, who is behind the attacks? And I'd like to answer that with giving this example. And please listen carefully to me. In the 2004 Euros football match, Portugal played Spain. Now, Portugal won that match not because Spain played badly or Spain played so well. Spain scored an own goal, and so Portugal won. In the 2018 World Cup, Iran versus Morocco, Iran won that match not because Iran played great football, but it was because Morocco scored an own goal. Last year during the Euros, France versus Belgium, again, France won that match not because the French football team played fantastic football. It was because Belgium scored an own goal. And so in this match between Terrorist FC and Nigeria, the terrorists are really not winning because of anything fantastic. It is that Nigeria seems to be scoring a lot of own goals. And I'll explain what I mean by own goals if we have the time later in the analysis tonight.
All right, but how effective are security defense operations across the northwest region, and is there any verifiable data that can actually be relied on?
Yes, we have verifiable data. There are 3 data points that I'd like to quickly talk about. Let's talk about the very first point. Let's take a look at what I talk about, Nigeria scoring an own goal. And the chart of the week clearly lets us understand how significant the economic situation is to security. Look at what's going on in the northwest. Yes, the evidence from the National Bureau of Statistics shows that in Kano, using an example, you have 5.8 million people that are employable. They feel that there's good news that 5.4 million of those employable are employed. However, the evidence shows that only 91% of those that say they're employed are self-employed. In all, Anne, in the northwest region, we have 22.6 million employable people. However, out of those that are employed, 93% of them say it's self-employment. And if you ask anybody that has been that is self-employed, 2 words are associated with self-employment: unstable income. In simple terms, the point is 93% of families living in the northwest are suffering from unstable income. And whenever there's unstable income, there is crisis anywhere in the world. That's the first point. That's the first data we need to understand. How we feel that people are employed, however, it is people are self-employed, and the real impact of self-employment is crisis. Now, let's take a look at the second data point, because within that second data point, there's good news and there's bad news. Looking at the half-year security review of Northwest operations. Now, the bad news is that in the Northwest region, Zamfara and Katsina are the epicenter of terrorism in Nigeria's Northwest region. From the evidence we have from ACLED, which is the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data, which is the most verifiable data and accurate data we have on terrorism incidents, especially looking at the breakdown, Zamfara and Katsina in the first half of this year account for 80% of all total fatalities. And by total fatalities, like I mentioned earlier, it includes deaths due to civilians, deaths from terrorists, and also deaths included in that is the military personnel data. So Zamfara, Katsina, epicenter of terrorism in the Northwest. The good news, however, is 67% of those fatality numbers that you have in front of you are fatalities due to terrorists. So that is the evidence. Again, let's look at why Zamfara, Katsina, and Sokoto, these countries, these states in the Northwest region, why are they the epicenter? And the facts that we have shows that 7 states in the Northwest, 5 out of these 7 states all share borders with the Republic of Niger. Only Kano and Kaduna in the Northwest region are really not sharing borders with it. So clearly, there's a lot of reasons when the Chief of Defense Staff had mentioned that we need to take our borders security more seriously, especially if we're going to consider building borders there. Thank you very much, Babajide Ogunsowo. Sorry, we have very limited time this time, but thanks for your analysis on the News at 10. Babajide Ogunsowo, founder of Leadership by Data and Channels Television's data analyst. Thanks for your time on News at 10.